to spend enough time on this to really understand it, but I'm going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some people say they keep the UFOs in Ohio.
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay, all right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov.
aliens.gov. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that, because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, "Yeah, aliens are real, but like here's where they're not." And
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens. He gets asked point blank, "Are aliens real?" Oh yeah. And then he goes, "But they're not at Area 51." And
where are they, bro?
Well, that's what he says. Right. That's a great question. Trump had to go save them, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed.
Exactly. We know interdimensionally everything is folded over itself. It's wormholes. And for studying the globalists and going back thousands of years, I got more on this tomorrow. They are here to set humanity up. They're here to give us dark, twisted knowledge, the knowledge of evil, which is we talk about in the garden in Genesis. So when you study Skull and Bones, all these groups, they are literally channeling these off-world entities. They're giving them advanced information, but for a cost. They've got to go sacrifice children. They got to start wars. They got to kill people with COVID. They got to hurt humanity, and then they're put in charge because they're willing to hurt humanity. They're given this knowledge. That's how it works. So here I'm like 10 years ago on Joe Rogan talking about this. There's armies. We're fighting a pedophile conspiracy, but beyond that, it's a vampire conspiracy in that they are interdimensionally sucking the essence of our youth.
Right.
And they believe they're possessed by an off-world entity. They do? Yeah, and Joe, I've been on air 22 years. I don't get into aliens, metaphysical, religion, any of that. I've studied Yuli, and I've also communicated with a lot of the top people. And if you want to know, I will actually break down right now the best knowledge right now what's happening on the planet.
What's happening?
The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones tend to want to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people. They want to empower them, so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together. Evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it, there's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's...
Okay, I wanted to pause it earlier, but I haven't been on this. When you pause it, if it would just be in the same place, because it runs. But anyway, there's a lot of things that were said here. Now, yes, the elites worship spirits, on the left-hand side, and do sacrifices to those spirits on the left-hand side. But the UFOs, in the UFOs are your angels. That's the glory of the Lord, right? So, some information has been twisted. And the reason why that is because there's an agenda for the governments of this world and the elites to try and fight the Lord and the angels that are in the ships. Okay? And that's what I want. And by the way, if you couldn't hear me, I said, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. At the start, and double honors to the apostles. Let's play on. Now, what I want to read is Revelation. Just to show you that the kings of the earth, it says it, the kings of the earth, gather together to fight Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, and the angels.
Once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us not in some PKD wirehead system where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to the system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place and to block these systems and to try to have an actual debate about where humanity goes and cut off the pedophiles and psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
Of AI?
How'd the pedophile?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
It's incredible.
I
That
didn't
was 7
understand
years
about
ago.
that was 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
So
No, 7 years ago, no one was thinking AI was going to take over civilization.
So you can see why the FBI decided to destroy him, which it did. The people in, I mean, it's just like what has happened to.
Yeah, these things have been getting spoken on for ages. But you've got something called Hegelian dialectic. That's one term. You got another term. Actually, there's information where the elites have got this belief where they have to tell you what they plan to do before they do it. Okay. So a lot of this, another person that was coming out with that sort of kind of information was talking about these kind of things, beings, and that was on the left hand side, and he was bugging out David Icke. Okay, that was kind of his angle. But what these a lot of these individuals are doing is making you is basically what they'll do, like what David Icke will do is he won't promote the scriptures, he won't tell you there's the God of the Bible, but he's going to tell you that there's these reptile deities. So basically, they're the ones that you got to feed into, because if they ain't no Most High, there's just these beings, and you bugged out. You bugged out, man. You don't know what's really going on. There's spirits on the left-hand side and there's spirits on the right-hand side, and they're all controlled by the Most High power. Okay, but these so a lot of this, there's a lot of schools of thought, there's a lot of shills, there's a lot of misinformation. What I've noticed is a lot of these individuals, they never promote the scriptures, they never promote the Most High and his angels. They're always talking about these demons and these super beings that the elites are working with. But there's no Most High. Okay. Okay.
So to all of you who are on the fence about ordering from D. Alex Jones.
All right, that's what usually happens when you pause that. So what I'm gonna do? You can't go back on this.
Nootropics.
That works.
JonesStore.com.
All right, let's do this. Let's bring out a couple of scriptures. All right, Revelation 19. Let's start from 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And obviously we know that this is Yahweh Shai, okay? The return of the Messiah, all right? And it says, in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. So the Lord is, is coming to make war and judge the planet. So if you're not in tune with these scriptures, when you see the angels and the UFOs and the Lord and that, you're gonna be see, we're welcoming the Lord of the angels. Where you wicked people out there, you're not doing that. Okay. Now we hope that we're on the right side of the Lord when he comes back. That's why we're teaching these scriptures and do the push this word. All right. It says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. And those crowns represent conquering of the nations that he's going to do. He's going to take rulership and power from all these different governments. Okay. And when you go back to one of the first clip, because they're saying all sorts of different stuff. But I think Vance he was saying that in the UFOs, which it's really just the eyes of the Lord scouting. He was saying it's demons. So that's going to justify the space programs that they've got, the government space programs that are the extended branches of the military, the space military that they've got to fight warfare in space, to fight UFOs and things of that nature. To actually try and fight and attack the Lord and the angels. It says he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. That was the rest of the angels, okay? And notice it said the armies. So you see these massive amount of UFOs and massive amount of sightings. That is the Lord and the angels, right? That's the armies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But to this system, to this world, they're not. It's like a threat, against their rulership, against their satanic setup that they've got. So it's a threat to them. Now let's do this. Let's go quickly. I'm gonna go back here. Is it a precept? Okay, this is Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. So those chariots are scouting the earth, and they're scouting Babylon the Great, which is America. And that's why they're talking like that. Okay? call them unidentified flight. And you know, you've had people on American news stations and stuff come out and say, well, they're angels. You know, usually when most of these films that you see of them, they're always like these creatures, demon-looking creatures, or greys, or robots, or giant insects and stuff like that, because they don't want to tell you the truth. That it's the angels in the ships. And also it makes you, hate the UFOs, hate the angels. So when they're doing all this, like, let's fight him, let's shoot him, you think, oh, well, that's normal. And that's the programming that's been put on the people. Excuse me, because when you read the scriptures, okay, when you read the scriptures, all throughout, the UFOs are mentioned in the scriptures as being angels. So they went off with that. The elite sacrifice into spirits, wicked spirits on the left-hand side. Okay, it's not the same verses you're going to pull out. So when you're talking about the Lord and the angels, Yahweh Shai and the angels and his second return, so they don't know what they're talking about when they're going to be talking about bringing the scriptures into this. Okay, behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. So they're actually coming for deliverance, destruction and deliverance. So they're going to come and destroy the house of Jacob. So let me say that again. They're going to come and deliver the elect of the house of Jacob. Okay, because a lot of you tribes are going to die anyway in World War III in Babylon the Great, because you've joined onto, the wicked. Let's do this. Let's get Thessalonians. I think it's First Thessalonians, actually. Let's go back. First Thessalonians 4:14. For if we believe that Yahweh Shai died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahweh Shai will the Most High bring with him. Right? For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord Yahweh Shai himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel, and the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahweh Shai shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain. Because you've had people that have been executed for the truth, You've had people that have been put there, you know, elders and apostles and stuff like, you know, elders and teachers from before, labored, okay, they're going to be raised up because your works follow you, you know. Everything you do, your works and all that, it follows you, all right? And it says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Now that's being beamed up into those UFOs. Okay, the clouds, the scriptures calls them clouds. Pillar by day, the fire by night, the clouds, the chariots. All of that. Alright, the we which are alive shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord. So that's who's in the ships. That's what's going on. And that's part of the deliverance on the second coming of the Lord himself. And obviously this system, they crucified the Lord afresh, who tells you that. So they're not going to be promoting that major deliverance, the second coming, as it tells you in Revelations 1 and 7. Let's get that. Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and everyone shall see him. So everyone's going to see these ships. And they also which pierced him. Okay, reincarnations in the scriptures. So what you was doing back then, you're doing now. If you was for Yahushua back then, you'll be for Yahushua now. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. So the same people that were against him back then when he was on the scene, walking around, okay, in the Roman Empire. Because you got to remember that America is Rome all over again. So that's why they're in that spirit. And they're trying to act like they're, you know, they're good people, and which that's in the scriptures too. Satan is transformed into an angel of light. They're trying to act like, well, we're good people, we're, you know. Let's do this. But really nothing but this society is known as Babylon, Egypt, you know, everything, every pagan empire you can think of. This is like an amalgamation and a reincarnation of those kingdoms. Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. What's the Washington Monument? An obelisk of Egypt. Where did they legalize sodomy at? Pass it as that, America. So that tells you exactly all you need to know. And that's why it's going to be destroyed in this World War III. You got Iran and all that stuff going on now. And these are all signs of that. Like the signs of the times. That you know that America's going to be destroyed. Because you're seeing all the prophecies happening. Let's do this. Psalm 68 and 13. Though ye have lain among the pots, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove, covered with silver, and the feathers with yellow gold. That's the chariots. The chariots, they're like that white, silver, gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. Chariots. So when we came out of Egypt, the Lord had the ships there, pillar of day, fire by night. And when this major deliverance that's going to happen, what's going to happen? We're going to be beamed up in those ships. 15. The hill of God is as the hill of Bashan, as an high hill as the hill of Bashan. Alright. Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill which the Most High desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Right, the chariots of the Most High, 20,000, even thousands of angels. So who's in the ships, who's in the UFOs? The angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. So that's going to be the glory of the children of the Lord, and you know, the Lord's going to deliver the Israelites in a great ship. So all these UFO sightings and things that's taking place, they can see it, and they, you know, Bill Clinton himself said, "Look, man, are they coming in peace? There's no aliens in Area 51." Obama just said that as well. But basically, these things are out there. We see them, and you know what spirit they're coming in, because they know that they're a threat to this world. Well, basically, they're gonna come and judge this earth. So they made the movie War of the Worlds, and this UFOs were zapping lasers. They were zapping lasers. On the earth. So there's a lot of scriptures on this topic. You got the book of Daniel. Another scripture that tells you you're going to have Michael, the archangel, that will be present. He's rolling around in them ships too. Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So you got mighty angels, archangels that will be present in these UFOs. So these rulers, these elites, these presidents and whatnot, these individuals, yeah, they're pretty much Satan, all right? They represent Satan, because you're gonna have the war in heaven, which will be the armies, and that's the, you know, the other side. I was gonna get first, but I was reading it. They're Satan. They represent Satan on the planet. Okay, that's when Hollywood and all that, they're, you know, always referencing Satan and things like that. NASA and all their like this, you know, there's programs are called the Dragon, the Beast, you know, or pagan gods, Apollo, things like that. Revelation 12 and 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Okay? So the Lord, Yahweh Shai, Michael the archangel, they're going to fight against this beast system, the dragon, and his angels, which is you army men that are in the army and that, and their technology, they're super soldiers, their jets, planes, you know, rockets, all of that. Now let's prove that quickly. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. That's the war in heaven. That the kings of the earth and their armies, this beast system, fighting the Lord and the angels. Okay? So I'm gonna leave this lesson there, because there's a lot more that could be brought out. So I'll just leave it on that point. I might put, because you could do this in parts, because there's the whole point of, which, you know, Esau, Edom, his elites worship demons, and you know, they worship the spirits on the left hand side. And then there's a point that it's the angels that are in the UFOs, the Lord and the angels that will destroy Babylon the Great. Okay, and a few things. So we've covered a few things, but I might touch more on these elites worshipping these left hand spirits in another show. So I think I'm going to close this one out, and with that I'm going to say shalom.